folks. Welcome to another edition of the Omnist Hour. Been away for a bit. We had some sickness going here. Probably the latest round of COVID going around. My wife had it pretty bad. She was in the hospital for about 4 or 5 days. And then I got it, and I was in bed for, I think about 3 days before I felt like a human again. At any rate, we're past that. And I hadn't planned on podcasting so soon after my recovery. I'm still taking medicine today. But I noticed something that needed to be commented on. This may be a short one, but it's going to be a very important one. And I think we're going to call this one, Did the Oxford Dictionary Just Erase All Sin? And we're going to focus in on something newsworthy that folks may not have noticed in the cancel culture battle that most of us realize we are in, which is being driven by the adversary, by the enemy of all souls who value their independence and free will and take their responsibilities seriously. This is actually, it may look rather dark to you, but I think it actually, to me, is a signal of good news. And I'll be talking about that as we get into it. Okay, so let's delve into this event. It actually happened a few months ago, and I'm surprised nobody noticed it, but that's kind of how things go. They slip things through, and nobody bothers to even question it. So here's a recent article. The Oxford Dictionary removed the word sin from the dictionary and added blog. Well, I think adding blog was a pretty good idea. If it wasn't there already, it's becoming a meaningful word. Deleting words from the dictionary is evil. This is the work of the adversary, the opponent of creation, the advocates of destruction. And this is an especially destructive bit of cultural Marxism. Now let's see if they bothered to give any rationale for why they did this. Oh, here it is. What word did the Oxford Dictionary remove from the dictionary, among others? The word sin. Why? Because it has fallen into disuse and is not recognized by the younger generation. What the fuck? I'm sorry, what the fluff? The removal of words went largely unnoticed until Lisa Saunders, a mother of 4 from Northern Ireland, pointed them out. She first realized the omission of words during a homework session with her son, who couldn't find moss and fern, which were in additions up till that time. Through this process, it was discovered among the entries which have disappeared from the latest edition of the Oxford Junior Dictionary are also disciple, coronation, empire, piglet, and acorn. In their place come the likes of MP3 player, broadband, biodegradable, committee, and celebrity. Oxford University Press said it analyzed millions of words from children's books and the school curriculum and looked at how frequently they occurred in considering how to update new editions. I'll bet they did, bastards. Words removed: nature, bluebell, budgerigger, cygnet, dandelion, gerbil, goldfish, guinea pig, kingfisher, magpie, marzipan, minnow, newt, piglet, primrose, starling, willow, wren. Those are perfectly good words. Oh, we can remove words related to Christianity: carol, cracker, holly, ivy, mistletoe, abbey, altar, bishop, chapel, Christian, christen, disciple, monk, nun, pew, saint, devil, sin. Oh, history-related words: coronation, duchess, duke, emperor, empire, monarch, decade. You see where this cancel culture stuff is going? Words added: science and technology, blog, broadband, MP3 player, voicemail, attachment, database, chat room, analog, incisor, square number, trapezium, food chain. They need trapezium more than they need to understand sin. Okay, I mean, this is really desperation city here. This is the adversary pulling all the stops, trying to corrupt your children. Corrupt your children before the event. Now let me remind you of one of the best prophecies of the end of day 7 of creation. The trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. Okay? Why incorruptible? Because if you're corrupt, you go to the bad place. You don't get to play this game anymore. If you come back here, it's as an NPC, a non-player character, to be tested at the lowest level of consciousness. They are deliberately dumbing down your children. They are doctoring your encyclopedias. They are doctoring your children's minds with nonsense that is designed to make them corrupted. This is grooming, corruption in the flesh, going on right now under your very eyes. If you're not looking at what your school district is doing, what their curriculums are doing, what they're doing to your children's books, what they're doing to all of society, you are an accessory to corruption. This is an accessory to the karmic sin of tyranny. You're going to go to the bad place. I'm sorry. You're going to go to the beast pen. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care how many times you went to church or how much you donated. If you let yourself be corrupted and let others corrupt your children, sorry, you're a beast. You don't deserve to be coming back as a human being again for a long, long time. Not in this universe. You failed this mission. I'm sorry to have to say it so bluntly, but you've got to stand up to this nonsense. If you don't, you and your kids are going to say goodbye in your version of the apocalypse. Your version of the apocalypse may be very apocalyptic. It may be a total takeover by this globalist hive mind that wants to tell you what to think, when to think, how to think it, and make you happy owning nothing. That's what they're going to do. Nobody's going to save you from it but yourself. And banding together as individuals. Not creating another hive mind that's going to do the same thing once it gets power. Okay? You don't just fall out of one cult and fall into another and hallelujah, we're saved. You got to stop being subject to cult programming. And this is cult programming. This is woke cult programming. It is a religion. It's a hive mind. All religions that are Unitarian worship any one and say that one is the only thing and the best thing and everyone must worship. That's a cult. If your brand of Christianity is like that, you live in a cult. If your brand of Islam is like that, you live in a cult. You want to control everybody. You want to warp their minds and make them believe what you do, whether it's right or wrong. My country, right or wrong. My religion, right or wrong. My God, right or wrong. If you think like that, you think like a member of a hive mind, like a drone. At best, a worker bee drone serving the queen and the elite beautiful people around the queens, and we know we've seen a lot of these queens, the preachers with funny hair and do the mega church, whoa, yeah bullshit. Okay, you think those are servants of God? You got another thing coming. They are fakes. They're making loads of money off a bunch of useful idiots who think that somehow worshiping this bastard who's got this big following and is raking in billions of dollars is going to get them closer to God. That's not how it works, folks. Boy, it's going to get pretty rough, because I can tell you when this kind of stuff is going on, we're getting very close to the end point. And I can't tell you exactly when the end point is. I know that this time will be over when the real Messiah is killed. Like the real Messiahs have been killed time and time and time again by their very own people. That's kind of how the pattern works. That's how you can tell a real Messiah from a fake one. The fake ones don't get killed. They get famous and accumulate more and more power until they run across another fake Messiah who knocks them off, and then it's a battle of the godfathers and the godmothers of society, the mafia family chieftains that have ruled humanity since before we had history, in fact. Okay, well, they're playing their game. That's not how God plays the game. That's not how karma plays the game. It's how you can choose to play the game. And again, the real God, the real first creator, is the one who gave you free thought and free will if you chose to use it. And everything else you got from somebody else. You got from becoming a new soul, a new NPC soul with background programming. The clone of another soul that went to another universe. Went to heaven, went to hell, whatever. When souls move around in the multiverse, you can't be two places at once. So you leave a clone where you were before. And that's how it works. There's a lot of copies of you running around the multiverse if you're an old soul. And some of those copies get corrupted quickly and they get reassimilated by Borg as being too corrupt for any respectable god or goddess to want serving them. Or they go on to develop their own unique timeline, their own unique string that gets longer and longer and more ornate, more able to play their unique tune, as long as that tune is not so discordant with others that nobody wants to play with them. I love that. What's this? It's the saddest little violin playing just for you. That's what will happen to you eventually if you keep playing without considering others, playing without considering karma. Nobody's going to want to hear you. Nobody's going to want to play with you. And that's what they're trying to drive you to, because that's the point at which you just want to let go and say, I want ego death. I want to just give it all up. And what that does is lets your soul be assimilated into the Borg, the adversary. And that's what's happening right now. The adversary's minions, the Borg and the other hive minds that feed the Borg, are recruiting souls from humanity. because they think that that's going to give them an advantage in day 8 of creation. Well, hive minds are not very smart. Actually, what's going to happen, the more souls they recruit, the faster the new karma will spread. So knock yourselves out. I'm just warning folks that if you let them assimilate you, if you willfully mind meld with the woke cult and go along with this nonsense that they're doing to all cultures in the name of globalism and unity and oneness and love, okay, you're willfully choosing to play on the adversary's team. You're choosing to join a hive mind. And when you join a hive mind, you get closer to the abyss, closer to Borg, closer to losing your identity, becoming totally assimilated in the one. That's a choice. But it's not the choice that any self-respecting soul would make. It's giving up. It's saying, I don't want to play the game anymore. Mr. Wizard, take me home. Okay, that's your choice, but don't do it blindly. You are being played by all this nonsense. You are being played by all this woke political nonsense that tells you, oh, we've got to be nice. Religion is bad. Freedom of religion is freedom from religion. This is how these nuts believe. These uber progressive lunatics want to destroy your free thought, your free choice, your ability to choose your beliefs and practice them as long as they don't hurt others, they don't impact others. You got to stop this. Nobody else is going to stop it. You got to push back. Not violently. That's playing into Borg's other agenda of destroying, basically what Borg has been up to since the beginning of the beginning before time has been trying to play whack-a-messiah with all the potential candidates for godhood, for being the equals of God. God is not afraid of anyone. God doesn't mind anybody sitting at the same table with him. God's not almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, uber micromanager of everything. Those gods are fakes, imposters, who want worshipers to, they're like these celebrity personalities like Oprah and, what's another good example? Well, Russell Brand is another one. I mean, he loves to be worshipped. He's a servant of the adversary. He's trying to do something good by following the herd to what seems to be the new cool. But he's so corrupted already, and it's coming out with this sexual scandal bullshit. Anybody who's been following the guy for any length of time who knows anything about judging character knows that the guy is shady as fuck. Sorry, as flip or whatever. I have absolutely no doubt that he has used and abused girls for his own pleasure. He's that kind of guy. This Andrew Tate too. I don't see him as an ally. He may be anti-woke, but he's corrupt as hell. He has a bad attitude towards our species. A disruptive attitude, a divisive attitude about the male and female roles in our species. Don't fall for it. Don't fall into a new cult echo chamber. And that's what's forming around the anti-woke set. which, you know, if your eyes are wide open, you can see that happening in spades. You've got all the younger people following folks like Tim Pool and getting their gospel from him. Well, he's creating his own little hive mind there. He's absolutely doing everything on his channel for the benefit of his brand. He won't say anything that's going to get him canceled, going to get him demonetized, that's going to get him deranked. And the fact that he isn't is proof positive that he's part of a new psyop. That's what this whole thing is about. The adversary's team has always been creating new psyops, new ways to corrupt souls. And they grow new corruptions out of fighting old corruptions, setting us against each other, polarizing us. And this is how they work since time immemorial. The hive mind groups will throw members under the bus to make it seem like they're fighting corruption. This is what's been going on in Hollywood with the Me Too movement. Okay? You think this stuff just started yesterday? No, they finally decided, okay, it's okay for you to call out all the male sexual predators, so that we can now protect the new female and transgender sexual predators, or LGBTQIP predators and programmers and groomers of children. Get it? They keep changing their strategy and turning more people into corrupt individuals with a narrower and narrower viewpoint, which is how you get them basically to join a cult. This is how cults program people. I watched a very interesting YouTube presentation. It was, I think it was a Lex Fridman podcast interviewing one of the escapees of the Scientology movement. And it was very interesting because he described in detail how they scientifically program people to assimilate into their cult. And it was very insidious and very informative to see how it was done. Now, that's all been exposed. This is an example of one of the cult psyops that has kind of been thrown under the bus. Now it's okay to diss Scientology, to put them down and say, oh, look at those silly cultists, and you know, the associated celebrities are now on the no-fly list, if you will, I guess. Although I guess Tom Cruise is still flying in Top Gun, but you know, this is part and parcel of this battle. It's getting really serious now because the darkest, deepest corners of the hive mind are being exposed. And this goes back to the oldest servants of the adversary hiding on this planet. And if you are listening to this and you're one of those reptilians, you'll know who I'm talking about. Let's see. Have I covered most of what I want to talk? I'm going to keep this one short. Like, share, subscribe. And until next time, this is the Omnist Hour with Rob Trump. Happy Karma.